Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and another episode of Unfiltered Truth. As you guys can see, I'm trying to take this immigration journey from different people's perspective, especially if a person is interested in studying in Canada, and just to give you perspective of somebody that supports someone or somebody that has to fund the tuition on their own. So today we will be talking to my aunt Natalie. So we're gonna talk to her and get her perspective on what it's like helping her daughter through school, and from I guess we can also get her feedback on life in the UK versus what it appears to be like here in Canada. So welcome, Natalie.
Thank you, my dear.
Awesome.
Welcome to Unfiltered Truth, Journey of Canadian Immigrants. Join us every other week where we talk to a new person about their adventure in Canada. Are you interested in coming? Then this is for you.
So welcome again, Auntie Annie. We're gonna get right into it. Start by saying, how did you prepare to help your daughter to come here? What was that preparation like?
Um, I suppose initially when Taskia wanted to come to Canada, to study, she checked everything out, the cost, what is needed, because obviously she needed bank statement, and everything else that goes along with studying in another country. So it was a matter of calculating the cost. And of course, when I actually heard the cost of everything and what is required, I thought, oh my God, why don't you do it next year? Because it sounds so much. Yeah.
But with the cost in mind of
Mm.
what it is like in Canada, what would it be like in the UK for an international student? Like for like.
Well, I have been a student as well in the UK, an international student as well, donkey years ago. But for a student now, doing a BSc, a BSA, it will cost like £9,000 a year.
What's the conversion on that?
So maybe that's about, I don't know, how much is it? Because the dollar drops, isn't it?
Which dollar drop?
The Canadian, the English pound is not as strong as it used to.
I think it's okay. I can check it right now so that everybody kind of knows what it's
Hmm,
like. Um, so
maybe 100, almost maybe 20, 18 something probably.
9,000 is about
Mm.
15. Okay,
Mm.
it's somewhat like for like, but one would beg the question though. Seeing that you have your big pounds, that amount is not,
Girl, people misinterpret this pound a lot. The pound, it might be big in value to get the money from Jamaica, but it doesn't mean that it's easier to come, um to get it really, because remember that, see, you said it's 15,000 Canadian dollar to £9,000. Do you see what I mean? So it people misinterpret it, but it's the same really. Honestly, it's just the value
hmm
of different countries' money.
Yeah, yeah. I can see how that because I mean, people will look at it like a pound is, this amount, but then when you think about it, a pound is just a pound, and you're not going to the supermarket and spending a pound. So I do understand and I do get the picture where that is concerned.
Mm,
But I'm asking because I know people would be thinking, oh, our mother live in England, so
mm.
automatically. But in terms of the process, how confident were you in the process of basically using this pathway to come to Canada? How confident were you in this system and seeing that it was so much money?
I know it was a means to an end. When Taskia said that she wanted to travel, the situation in Jamaica. 'Cause bearing in mind, as a registered nurse, she wasn't even getting 100,000 Jamaican dollar.
Just
Do you
crazy.
see what I mean? You spend
Ridiculous.
so much for her to go to school or
Mm-hmm.
even with other students, other places, but they study so hard. Remember, nursing is theory, it's practical, it's everything in one. So it's hard. It's a hard job. It's rewarding because it's a vacation, but it's a hard and tedious job. You understand? When people are sick, you become mothers, you become wives, you become husband to people, you put on so many roles as a nurse to
Mm-hmm.
help people become better. Because sometimes problems aren't only physical, but they're mental as well and emotional. Sometimes a patient might just need a hug. Sometimes a
Yeah.
patient might just need a kind word. And in a country like even London, where people are lonely, some of these elderly um patients, they just need somebody to just spend 5 minutes with them to talk to them. So you see, so nursing is more holistic.
Yeah.
So when you think of them getting just 100,000, then they're not. I think Jamaica is not really encouraging nurses to stay because of the cost of living, because of what they really pay the nurses. And that's why even you have the doctors striking and everything because they themselves not getting enough.
Yeah.
So so when I heard Taskia wanted to to go abroad, to go to Canada, then I thought, let me support her and do the best that I can. It
So,
wasn't easy, but
but I guess another question, one would beg the question, because now it's Canada versus the UK, and you're in the UK. And for nurses back home that are deciding, do I go to America? Do I go to Canada? This is slightly off topic, uh, but do I go to the UK? Because I heard that the processing time to come to the UK to be a nurse is very
I
quick.
remember asking Taskia this if when she come as a nurse. I remember Taskia said to get 1,600 pound a month. So she was it's quite cheap as well. You see? So it
So it's not a lot. You wouldn't say in pounds getting paid as a nurse is not a
it's
lot.
not a lot, yeah. I
Um,
think it's down to experience, qualification. Yeah, experience and qualification brings you up.
mhm, mhm. Um, yeah, I see what you mean. So essentially, speaking from your perspective, would you necessarily say come to the UK versus coming to Canada? It's just a
You
comparison.
know, there's several disadvantages and there are advantages because for me, uh being here in London for over 20 something years, you miss family.
Hmm.
It takes longer to go to Jamaica, and the prices now for flights from London to Jamaica is exorbitant. It's cheaper to come to Canada and go to New York and to actually go to Jamaica.
Hmm.
So the distance for travel is good to see family and to be with family as well is good. Another having been to Canada and so I can compare. Another advantages apart from the traveling less time. Um, there's more land, there's more space. There is, socialization is a lot better. Canada is a beautiful country. It is, and there's a lot to see, a lot to do. Uh, apart from yeah, but
Hmm.
England, on the other hand, it's a very disciplined country. I love the way that we line up to get on the bus. I love the way that when you come, no, having been to America, Canada, in comparison to London, you nobody gonna cut you on if you're at the bus stop. It's first come, first serve. You see? I
Hmm.
love the NHS. If you're sick, you can get treatment. If you have no money, if you have money, no money, you can get treatment. The NHS is in a lot of trouble, yes, but you get free healthcare. You can do private, so you get better
Yeah.
healthcare
You
because
get free in Canada too.
you get free in Canada as well. So I know in America you have to have insurance. You go to the hospital and they ask you first if you have insurance before they treat you. But
Yeah.
so that's a good plus, for England. Sometimes I love the weather. The weather changes like the people, to be honest. Because sometimes you have rainy weather, sometimes it's the sunshine, sometimes it's so cloudy as well. Look at today, it's the king's coronation and it was pouring down with rain, but they were outside. I love the whole monarchy thing as well, where they're very patriotic. You see the streets of London lighting up. Um, it's buzzing. The food you get so much more. Um, yeah, you get a lot of variety of food
Oh,
in.
in the UK.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think-
to be fair, there are cities that are more diverse and so they have more food
mm,
options than others. Because, for example, in Toronto, in the GTA, you name it, you can find it.
mm-hmm.
But I guess in different areas, you'll have Walmart kind of selling based on the population. So they're aware and, so
Okay, so that's what they do. Yeah.
that's how it kind of, and across the board, when we used to live in the Jewish neighborhood, they would have a lot of kosher, like everywhere that you go in and around, have a lot of kosher, and just different places will have different things. But going back now to being on the side of support and being outside of the country, um, how is the feeling, and what is something that you learned along the journey that I guess you didn't anticipate and it probably helped, in terms of to help you guys financially. But what let me rephrase that question. Financially, I know you were preparing and you know what the tuition was like, but throughout the process of another semester coming up and then another semester coming up, what did that look like? What did that feel like? And is there anything along the journey that you would recommend somebody that is supporting another to do?
Um, yes, because you pay from semester to semester. The good thing with for me, I had to do the whole transmission Flywire. I use Flywire a lot. And
Yes,
did
that's what they use.
bank transfer. PayPal was my best friend as well. um, and I think it's just gearing up. What I did, I remember, good old partner in Jamaica. That was something that I used to help me along. And just knowing that, December, September, you know that school fees coming, so you start preparing yourself to
Mm-hmm.
do. So you put away a little at a time. Because one thing I didn't want to happen, and I didn't want us get to finish school in debt. And that was my major thing. And I talked to God a lot about it as well. God and I are very best friend, and you understand. But I talk to him a lot because I always remember I heard this phrase that if God bring you to it, He'll bring you through it, and I trust Him for that. And that's something that I go by every single day of my life. Because if He points you to something, your break point is always your make point, and He's not gonna leave you stranded. He's not gonna leave you comfortless. And if you put it to Him, I'm telling you, He make a way where there seems to be no way. I don't know if me paying my tithes and seeding and all that, I think that helps as well. But when you put it to him, I've never been left wanting. I've never been hungry. Do you see what I mean? But God provides. God provides. And the school as well. I remember there was a time when school fee was due,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time when it was due, the date, I think payment was, I was going to be late to pay a couple of days. This girl was going back to school. And we wrote Taskia called, I think, the office, and they were so accommodative and supportive,
Mm.
and that for me was a plus for Lambton College, because they're very, very supportive with. I don't know if it's because we always pay, but then, and we were just gonna be late a couple of days or so, but they were very accommodative, so people shouldn't feel afraid to
Ah,
speak up
yeah.
and say that this is this, and you understand.
And you made a good point because I don't think a lot of people are aware. But for some colleges, you can actually do a payment plan. Actually, for most of them, you can do a payment plan. After the first semester, they allow you to do a payment plan, and perhaps it's $1,000, or you pay until you pay a little until you finish your semester.
Hmm.
That's actually very good to hear. Another solid point about Blanton College is they also gave her entrance scholarship of $3,000.
You
So
see, initially, God is good, eh?
that in itself, like a lot of international students don't have that privilege. So that
Mm,
was a big deal. Like $3,000 is a lot of money.
it is, yeah.
A lot of money. Imagine somebody give me 3,000. I don't.
Yes, yeah, I forgot that actually. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess thumbs up to Lantern in terms of that. Um, and another thing is that we can probably attest to is the fact that she was able to work. So Canada allows for students to work, and she was lucky enough to have them say, "You guys can work full-time hours."
Yeah, full time. So she was able to take care of all her other expenses.
Mm.
And Taskia, it was is a young lady that is very resourceful, and she lived within her means. So that's one thing that people need to know, that they need to live within their means. This is just a phase,
Mm.
and no situation is permanent. So it's just a phase that you go through, and because you know your goals. So if you're focused and
Mm.
you know your goal, you just navigate and go through, and
Yeah.
then in the end, in the final analysis, all things come together for good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. I was there, so I totally agree. In terms of like from an emotional standpoint, though, we spoke a lot about money, but I wanted to touch on the emotional standpoint from. I know she's not young like leaving high school, but there are parents that are willing to send their children at like 18 or whatnot. How did you feel about that? Like, what was, because she is not like she was close to us. At least she could take the bus. But from an emotional standpoint and the standpoint of what's gonna happen, how did you feel, or were you somewhat secured in your thinking because it's, I don't know, Canada?
There were times when you got worried, especially when she initially started living in Sani, and she had that altercation with that lady,
Mm-hmm.
and she had to leave. I felt horrible, and I felt like telling her to go back home as well. You know what I mean? Because you were scared for her.
Mm.
Literally, I was scared for her because she was there by herself. The first day when she went, and I heard that she was crying. So, oh my God, is it a horrible place? So you go through so many
Mm.
things at the time. And another emotion, you felt happiness as well,
Mm.
because she met some very good friends. The friends that she met were so good. And
Mm.
when I came and I saw where she was and I met them, I realized that, my God, God has brought her good people around her. So
Mm.
that in itself, her landlord wasn't bad as well. The past landlord that she had. So
Right.
she had all these people. So God sent her support. So she had all these people that supported her.
Same
Um,
culture and different culture and just.
yeah, and they really did come together
Mhm.
for her. So after you start simmer down and you realize that no, she'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
great. So what is your overall standpoint? I know this is the first bar that she has crossed because she has successfully completed school, and so the tuition part is out of the way. Um, I guess, and but now there's the part of getting, her permits and then PR and stuff, and everything is money. This whole thing is not just, it's not anything to benefit us really. It's just we have to take the benefit from it, because it's a money making system.
It's the same process in London. You have to pay, right?
If I,
That's how they make their money.
yeah,
That's how they make their money. So
actually,
you have to pay. So I've been through it, so I understand the process.
yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, exactly. So it's a little.
mm,
I guess it's a little bit easier for you, but I guess, how do you feel now? That all right, one third list done and moving on to the next. How how do you feel?
I think the hardest part, Sanjay, was to start for her to go through school. That's the most expensive part. These little bits are just minor.
That's
Honestly.
that's true.
Because the hardest thing is to start. And I find that when you start, my God, it just goes and it goes quickly. And you endure through it. And,
I love that. Actually.
yeah. So
I
you,
think a lot of people worry about the money. I don't know why I'm echoing. A lot of people worry about the money because it does seem like a lot. It seems like a really huge mountain. But what I've realized with, dealing with international students and me myself is just that when you reach halfway, man, it just, God just start popping up and showing up out of
you
nowhere.
shows up with it.
Oh,
Oh my
just
God.
is just, just start come up out of nowhere, and you realize that you're eating, you're traveling back and forth, you're working, you're going to school, and it just all is just seemingly coming together.
His
um
grace. I
yeah.
think in the process you learn, God's grace and His mercy, and
Mm,
you also learn faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Faith is the substance of things not seen, the evidence of things to come." And my God, He makes things come sometimes, and it thought, He sent your help from nowhere.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So to conclude, I want you to not just motivate persons that are the supporters, but in general, somebody that is probably afraid to start this journey, about to start this journey. Overall, what advice would you give and what recommendations? Seeing that you also migrated to the UK and you have been dealing with your daughter migrating here, in general, give us some advice and some takeaways.
My advice is see what you want. Know what you want out of life. See your goal that you want and focus on it. Pray about it and speak it forth.
Mhm.
If God, and as I said, if God bring you to it, He'll bring you through it. He'll pay the bill. Honestly, you just have to have that faith and belief in God. Don't leave Him out of anything. Talk to Him about everything. I never forget one of my friends. She said, she called me, let us pray. Because every time, yeah,
That
I'm telling you,
that
I
is
talk to God about everything, Sanjay. I pray about everything. I pray about everything because
yeah,
God become your best friend.
yeah.
You Another thing, trust nobody else but God at the time as well. I'm telling you, because mankind and people will fail you sometimes, but God never ever fails. He never give up on you. And when the road get rough, He has your back all the time. Because God is God. He is God.
Hmm.
And just do your best. Don't be afraid to take the leap as well, to go at the rate of how Jamaica is, or any small country. Yes, God knows where we place people. So yes, Canada might not be for everybody, but if you see where you want to come and you can, don't worry about money. I think always tell people apply first, and the money will come. It will. I don't know if I'm a living testimony to that the money will come. Whatever your need is, the money, it comes once you believe in God. It comes, Sanjay. It comes from nowhere sometimes, but it comes. Sometimes God send you help that you're not even expecting.
True.
But
True.
when you tell him and you pray about it, make sure you pray and you fast first and then after. And when you come, live within your means, you know. Live within your means. Stay focused. If you can only fry chicken at home or eat chicken back, they sell chicken back in England. I don't know if they sell it in Canada, but they do. I remember when I was at university, Sanjay. Me, that's how I discovered jacket potato. I ate jacket potato with beans, jacket potato with butter.
What is jacket
Oh
potato?
Lord. The biggest potato that you can find. You know, you have Irish potato, isn't it? Irish potato, we
Mhm.
call it in Jamaica. You have some big size that you can put in the microwave for a few minutes. You can put it in the oven in a file. You steam it, roast it with the skin on it and everything. You wash it, steam it. You can soak it in salt water. Okay, you prick it, yeah. And then you have the whole potato. Then you slice it in two, and then you put your baked beans. You can put cheese. You can put just butter. You can eat it with anything, my dear, and you have a full blown meal there. So I've this that's how I discovered jacket potato, girl. Huh? A jacket potato, and you can do it with tuna fish, tuna.
Mhm.
You understand? Pickled tuna, anything you can eat jacket potato with. It's nice. Try it. But so I discover toast. Yeah, peanut butter on toast, beans on toast. These were the food, Sanji.
Mm.
But it didn't make me any worse. I graduated. I think I'm at top of my nursing. I've done every area of nursing that I can. You understand? Um, I think the only thing I've done to show is a good CV.
Mhm.
But you know, don't be afraid to get what go and get what you want.
Mhm.
It comes together. You just have to start. I promise you, as you start, God will help you along the way.
Good to know. And one more question. Would you recommend somebody to come to England or Canada?
Girl, Joella Lord want to come to Canada this minute.
So let's conclude in Canada.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
me, for me in terms of being nearer to Jamaica,
Yeah.
family, the shopping as well, even though it's a little bit more on the expensive side in Canada. Um, yeah, Canada for me is that ultimate place that you'd want to be.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
One last thing, Sanjay, that I must stress, and is this book. I believe that this book has a special anointing on it. Whatever, and I've seen it with Taskia writing things down, and it's got answered. If you notice the ticks, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see all the ticks.
Yeah.
Those ticks are answered prior. Whatever I've written in this book, they all come true. Honestly, they come true. And so I urge people to get this journal and write your prayer requests. Write what's on your mind. Take at heart the word that it says as well. You see, a part of it, it said, the effectual prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Pray about everything. Write down your plans and you tick it off. These are my two companion. I take them everywhere I go and I tick them off because God answers prayer and I can recommend these things. I write everything down. So write things down so you know so you can see how are going is milestones, you know, each day. Take each day as it comes and write things down. Whatever on your mind, write things down and you tick it off as you go. Because it works. Writing things down, praying about things, talking to God about everything, and being focused really works.
Mhm.
And that's my advice or recommendation.
Awesome. So the book is actually available on Amazon, and I can
Yes.
actually add a link below. So people in
Mm-hmm.
the UK or wherever you can purchase a copy of the book as well.
Yeah.
So
All right,
yeah,
definitely.
awesome. Thank you so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it. I appreciate a different take. Hearing from somebody else, somebody that had to finance it and stand on the sidelines. It's good to hear the emotions that people also go through on that side because it's not a one-sided journey after all. So once again, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
Bye.